Hey there! Did you know? Skibidi Toilet is a short series made by talented Gmod content creator DaFuckBoom, who was around when I used to play Gmod, Gmod being short for Gary's Mod. But this is not the Gmod that I remember. So I sat down and I watched every single episode of Skibidi Toilet so you don't have to listen to the same 20 words being sung over and over again and can still sound hip with the kids while I explain what on earth is going on. Strap in, folks, because this gets insane. The important things for you to know before we jump into things is that DaFuckBoom, the creator of Skibidi Toilet, averaged around 1,000 new subscribers a week and in the range of 500,000 to 700,000 views per week until around January of 2023. If you look on a website like Social Blade, you can see that DaFuckBoom averages around 1.56 million subscribers per week, with a yearly estimate of getting close to 80 million subscribers. So what happened in the past 8 months? These numbers are quite literally unheard of. Well, Skibidi Toilet happened. With the first video going up February 8th, 2023, the first video sits at around 81 million views, a rather low amount for the series, with the highest viewed video right now being Skibidi Toilet 17 at 207 million views. The first 15 episodes of the series were just regarded as another joke that DaFuckBoom was making, as he is a popular Gmod animator. However, around after episode 15 or so, which is coincidentally the exact point I stopped watching the series because I was so fed up with it the first time, the series takes itself not seriously, but the pieces of the puzzle begin to shape into place. An actual series begins to form that I found myself caring about. Actual investment, attachment, and intrigue around the 1/3 point. And before that, it just really felt like Zoomer humor, just lol random, why not, illogical with no rhyme or reason. But now, I look forward to these videos coming out. The intention behind these videos is that they appeal to everyone. They are lol random, with lore, intentionality, there's no language barrier, they're short form so they fit on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, they just click. Even Ethel likes Skibidi Toilet. Isn't that right, Ethel? And she got turned into a toilet. Alright, well, I go and try and save Ethel. Get ready for a wild ride. The series starts out incredibly innocent, with the camera sweeping across a room and eventually a head popping out of a toilet and singing the Skibidi Toilet song. This song is a sped up remix of Give It To Me by Timbaland and Dom Dom Yes Yes by Bizer King. This is more or less the premise of all the early episodes of Skibidi Toilet. I don't know if DaFuckBoom realized that this series would hit the internet like crack cocaine, but oh my gosh, I've spent 4 days scrolling through the Skibidi Toilet wiki hunting down lore. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get there. We're only on episode 2 now, nothing insane's happened yet. The same thing happens in the first couple of episodes. Heads emerge from a standard flush toilet in episode 1, a urinal in episode 2, and a giant flush toilet in episode 3. I won't lie when I say episode 4 jump scared me. There's a series of people in a restaurant, a standard flush toilet or Skibidi Toilet breaks down the door singing per usual, followed by a sharply louder and larger Skibidi Toilet. This is around the point when I realized, oh no, there's lore. Yeah, episode 4 concludes what's considered to be season 1 of Skibidi Toilet, so let's just take a quick recap to see what happened so far. A Skibidi Toilet was introduced in episode 1, a Skibidi Urinal in episode 2, a giant Skibidi Toilet in episode 3, and finally episode 4 introduces the concept that Skibidi Toilets can turn humans into Skibidi Toilets? I don't know, man, let's just move on to season 2. Season 2 starts with episode 5. It begins with some giant flying Skibidi Toilets that spawn more Skibidi Toilets. I guess. It's a way to start a season, but not a lot to go off of, but it does bring up a repeating pattern. The Skibidi Toilets have a habit of eating the viewer, or jump scaring them at the very least at the end of each episode. Something to continue to be on the lookout for. Episode 6 is the Skibidi Toilet song, but put to the beat of Bloody Mary by Lady Gaga, which is most associated with that TikTok dance from Wednesday, while the Skibidi Toilet of this episode is in a nightclub, acting as the DJ. Again, the Skibidi Toilet consumes the camera in a way at the end, a weird recurring pattern yet again. Episode 7 is where I feel like the lore begins to come into its own. The Skibidi toilet is singing the usual song before the cameraman flushes him away, interrupting his song. Eventually, another Skibidi toilet comes in singing the song, accompanied by more Skibidi toilets. And finally, the giant G-Man Skibidi toilet from Half-Life comes in singing, and eventually the cameraman is eaten by a Skibidi toilet. Does this explain anything? No! But clearly there is something going on. I feel that this is the exact point where something actually started to occur. And Defuck Boom, instead of creating this nebulous lore, actually started to do something with this series and started to make storylines. Episode 8 wraps up with Season 2 being the biggest lore dump we've had so far. Granted, there hasn't been much, but this is another step in the right direction. Instead of using assets like Gordon Freeman dancing in the background because lol, it seems like there is a war going on between the Skibidi toilets and these camera-headed humanoids that I'm going to call cameramen. Eventually, a Skibidi toilet sneaks up on the cameraman and kills him, just like the rest of the episodes. So let's take a moment to take stock here. There are humans in this world as indicated by past episodes, but there are also sentient toilets that can only sing a mashup of 2 songs in varying speeds or tones with the same lyrics on repeat. They are at war with the camera-headed humanoids that I called cameramen earlier for some unknown reason, and they keep eating the cameramen that document all the episodes. We are 8 episodes into this series, with each episode being only 15 to 20 seconds long, and I'm already more invested than I was in Season 2 of The Walking Dead. This is the exact point in this series that I actually decided that I had to make this video to save anyone over the age of 25 the pain of watching this series, and I kid you not, listening to the same 12 seconds of audio over and over and over again. I'm gonna ask you to drop a like on this video to hopefully bring me out of the Skibidi trenches. Moving on to Season 3. Season 3 begins with Episode 9, where a cameraman is seen at some sort of memorial statue of a golden toilet. There are 2 Skibidi toilets who he flushes both of before glancing over to another cameraman, getting chased down by... Oh my gosh, the toilets have police hats. Our cameraman gets arrested by the Skibidi toilet police, and by arrested I do indeed mean eaten. However, there is one important detail that I left out, on purpose. Before the cameraman glances over at the other cameraman being chased down by the STP, or the Skibidi Toilet Police, he spray paints a camera logo on the monument to the golden toilet I mentioned earlier. Does the double homicide plus vandalism incur the death penalty in this city? I guess. But this paints the cameramen as rebels more than anything in this series. On to the double digits we go. All I can say about episode 10 is, holy shit. Get it? It's funny because they're in church. The Skibidi toilet has a halo this time. He's standing at an altar and appears to be preaching. Eventually, the cameramen bust down the side door. The preacher Skibidi toilet eats one and goes on to kill our cameraman before he's flushed, and we get a thumbs up, having our first cameraman living in this series. Episode 11 is the Season 3 finale, with seemingly a conflict going on between the cameramen and the giant Skibidi toilets, with even one seeming to have devil horns. The 3 giant Skibidi toilets consume the cameraman and the episode ends. We get a brief look at some of the other cameramen with different heads, but that's the only interesting thing about this episode I could find. This was also the exact point in the series where I decided that I could no longer do this without help. So here's what my screen looked like. Yep, I started using the wiki and found out that not only are there more than 50 episodes at the time of this recording, they get longer from here. So the giant Skibidi toilet is called the Cerberus Skibidi toilet. And yes, those indeed were devil horns that I correctly identified earlier. Season 4 kicks off how you would expect it to. No, I'm serious. It's exactly how you would expect it to kick off. Pause the video, write your answer down in the comments below, and come back here once you're done. I'm serious, I'll wait. Okay, all done? Well, guess what? You're wrong. Season 4 actually kicks off with the G-Man Skibidi toilet with laser eyes, because of course it does. This episode reaffirmed that the only way to kill these things is to flush them, or to throw them and they nebulously explode, because why not? Episode 13 kicks off with what can only be described as a spider camera tank, called a camera strider according to the wiki, which is then destroyed by a giant flying laser eye shooting Skibidi toilet, which kills the camera strider. Both sentences that I wish that I got to say more often. A few cameramen flush the giant laser toilet before a kamikaze toilet murders our cameraman, and the episode ends. Do I have any jokes? Any commentary on this? Are you expecting a witty remark out of me regarding this episode? No. No. Nothing. You get nothing. This episode lost me. However, fortunately, the next episode, mwah, chef's kiss. This episode has a callback to episode 4, where we saw those humans get turned into Skibidi toilets. One of the characters we saw was the old man called Grandpa Skibidi Toilet, as there are a march of cameramen about to take on the Grandpa Skibidi Toilet, before they are rammed over by the giant rocket Skibidi Toilet, killing all of the Skibidi toilets and cameramen. This concludes season 4 with a bang. Giant rocket toilet go bang. There actually being a callback in this episode gave me a lot of faith in the series at this point. It also made me really happy that I caught something like that. I write all these scripts after the fact, but the lore of this series actually is incredibly Skibidi toilet. Season 5 starts with another bang. This time it's because the cameraman blew up a whole bunch of Skibidi toilets, chasing after a Fortnite dancing cameraman with a remote control labeled Baba Booey. Episode 15 ends with him being shoved off of a rooftop by a Skibidi toilet wearing a hat, who then crushes him to death instead of eating him. A strange choice in the moment of watching this. Like I said earlier, this was the episode where I gave up the first time I tried watching this series, because I simply could not anymore. This next episode, episode 16, actually came out on my birthday last year. And before I get into the analysis of this episode, I want to point out a small Easter egg that there is actually a cat Skibidi toilet in this episode. It made me very happy to see as a light little birthday present. But what's the lore relevance? It's the only Skibidi toilet cat. Did the camera Skibidi toilet bomb kill the only Skibidi toilet cat? How did it become a Skibidi toilet? This episode consists of a CCTV toilet going into a laboratory full of Skibidi toilets, trying to get footage. Something explodes, either the CCTV toilet or they didn't want their feline porcelain activities discovered, so they hit the reset button and blew everything up. Only for the cameraman recording this episode to be killed by something called the spider Skibidi toilet. Which, I mean, yeah, it is. It's got spider legs. Episode 17 is the season finale for season 5. Which, if it feels like there have been a lot of finales and new seasons, you can look back and see that this season was only 3 episodes long. All of the seasons are 3 episodes long, except for the first one. This is an intentional choice to ensure that the full season compilations make it onto YouTube Shorts, with each episode only being around 20 seconds, so the full season recaps only wind up being a minute, with YouTube Shorts capping you at only 60-second uploads. Episode 17 starts with 2 cameramen on a rooftop as our cameraman approaches. They attempt to orbital strike a whole congregation of Skibidi toilets, including the G-Man Skibidi toilet, but fail to destroy them, as the orbital laser does nothing, and the G-Man Skibidi toilet destroys the orbital laser strike with his own pair of laser eyes. The 3 cameramen are then hunted down and killed on the rooftop. That concludes season 5 on the down note of the cameramen being unable to destroy the Skibidi toilets, and my therapist getting another invoice for my watching. Season 6 honestly starts with a banger of an episode, a sentence that if you told me that I'd be saying 6 seasons deep into this series as I just watched episode 1, I would have told you that you'd lost your Skibidi mind. But they managed to introduce something really, really cool in episode 18. It marks the introduction of the Titan cameraman. This is a creature that appears to have been designed with the express purpose of destroying Skibidi toilets. In this episode, he saves our character from a camo Skibidi toilet, a giant Skibidi toilet, and a spider Skibidi toilet. The Titan cameraman is giant, able to effortlessly kick away the giant Skibidi toilet. Episode 19 is more of the same, seeing the Titan cameraman kill the Cerberus Skibidi toilet from way back in episode 11, which signaled a few things to me when I was watching. That the creator clearly cares more and more and more about this series, and that there is more and more lore that is being developed and written ahead of time. Looking back at the first 4 episodes, it's more or less nonsense. Very Zoomer humor and just heads popping out of toilets singing skibbity bop bop whatever. But the world building, the lore, I just have fallen in love. It took 20 episodes, but finally, I can say that I like this series more than I like the season finale of Game of Thrones. Not a high bar, but a bar nonetheless. Episode 20 wraps up season 6 with the showdown everyone was waiting for. Titan Cameraman versus G-Man Skibidi Toilet. And the fight isn't even close because the G-Man isn't playing fair. Titan Cameraman, equipped with a riot shield, attempts to take down G-Man Skibidi Toilet, but the giant rocket Skibidi Toilet hits the Titan Cameraman right in his chest where his power source is. G-Man Skibidi Toilet then uses his laser beams to force Titan Cameraman to retreat for the time being, while G-Man Skibidi Toilet kills our character. A melancholic note to leave season 6 off on, as the Titan Cameraman was no match for the G-Man, but there is still a glimmer of hope. A very powerful Skibidi Toilet has been defeated in the form of the giant rocket Skibidi Toilet sacrificing himself just to wound the Titan Cameraman. So overall, I see this as a Cameraman win. Season 7 is seriously where the game starts to change a lot. This is where I feel the creator of the series is actually taking the series in a hard right turn and is no longer just writing lol random humor at all. While season 6 focused entirely on the Titan Cameraman, it felt like it was setting up for what season 7 did. While episode 21 starts with the cameraman interrogating a chained up Skibidi Toilet about the G-Man Skibidi Toilet. Oh my god, there's continuity, lore, a plot thread we can follow, it's a miracle! Before eventually the chained up Skibidi Toilet sets off some sort of alarm, warning the G-Man Skibidi Toilet of the location of the interrogation. The cameramen flush their prisoner, and the Skibidi Toilet blows up the room they're currently in with his laser eyes. Episode 22 also marks a very important episode. This is an attempt on the G-Man's life, as two of the cameramen attempt to flush him. He begins to flush, and then he pops right back out and kills them both. This episode also introduces my favorite character so far in the series, who is called the Hydra Spider Skibidi Toilet, or Penta Spider Skibidi Toilet, which is just a 5-headed Skibidi Toilet that just, there's no lore behind this one, I just think it's hilarious. He's just got 5 heads! The season finale shows us the aftermath of the Battle of the Titan Cameraman, with him being fixed up in a lab and being repaired by some cameraman scientists. A herd of Skibidi Toilets break in, realize what they just walked in on, and attempt to book it out of there before they're shot down by the Titan Cameraman's laser finger. Like I said, this episode and this season introduces continuity and a storyline you want to follow. There's a clear battle between the cameramen and the Skibidi Toilets, with the commanders from both sides seeming to be the Titan Cameraman and the G-Man Skibidi Toilet. Season 8. Let's jump straight into episode 24. This is the introduction of the brand new characters of the Speakermen. They are the exact same as the cameramen, but with speakers for heads instead of cameras. Yeah, it's not exactly rocket science in terms of character design. A cameraman is seen fighting off a few Skibidi Toilets before he is ambushed by that aforementioned Hydra Skibidi Toilet, which is viciously flushed by a Speakerman. And what's that? A new song? Oh my gosh, a new song is heard! The theme song of the Speakermen is Tears for Fears' classic song, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. There is now a whole new piece on this chessboard of war, and it's the Speakermen. Episode 25 introduces a brand new concept, that the Skibidi Toilets can be defeated simply by noise. A giant spider speaker uses its size and noise to defeat an oncoming onslaught of various Skibidi Toilets. Our character is told to put on headphones to prevent the loud noise that the spider speaker is about to produce, which succeeds in defeating all of the oncoming Skibidi Toilets. Season 8 wraps up with an insane episode, introducing us to a brand new character yet again. Our cameraman is going on a Skibidi Toilet killing rampage, killing 5 whole Skibidi Toilets before getting snuck up on by a giant Skibidi Toilet and knocked to the floor. The giant Skibidi Toilet is defeated by a giant Speakerman, only for an even bigger Skibidi Toilet to come out wearing a ski mask, only for him to be defeated by our brand new character, the Titan Speakerman. He jetpacks in from the sky, equipped with a rocket launcher on his arm, and flushes the ski-masked Skibidi toilet before taking a seat on his throne like the absolute king that he is. This is the best time that I could think of to bring up something really important. As these videos are getting longer and longer, all the seasons videos are getting cut for time. Certain parts of each episode are getting cut so that all 3 episodes for each season only take up about a minute, so that way they can make it onto YouTube Shorts. For all the grief that I gave this series in the beginning, DeFuckBoom really is a genius when it comes to making this type of content. Moving on to Season 9, meaning that this show has officially passed Game of Thrones in number of seasons, and I am currently more invested in this series than I was in the entire last season of Game of Thrones. Episode 27 is a sting operation on a warehouse full of Skibidi toilets. The giant speaker man busts down the front door before our character is almost devoured by a Skibidi toilet, but the last second is saved by another cameraman. Episode 28 shows us one of the first black Skibidi toilets, who's wearing a fedora, as we infiltrate another Skibidi toilet compound, before getting spotted and eventually saved by the genius, brilliant mind that is the Titan Speaker Man. This is a good time to mention that at the end of almost all of the recent episodes, we've been getting a thumbs up from our fellow cameramen. However, after the Titan Speaker Man has saved our butts, he gives us a gentle wave, and it's very pleasant seeming. The ending of Season 9 is also a really good episode. These are sentences I did not think I'd be writing back around Episode 5. Episode 29 shows us some victorious speakermen and cameramen hanging out before a glitch Skibidi toilet comes out of nowhere. The giant speakerman casually walks up to it, but the glitch Skibidi toilet completely blows his head off by ramming into him, killing him incredibly fast and instantly. The glitch Skibidi toilet then proceeds to kill off the other cameramen and speakermen, additionally killing the first ever seen camera woman with its blazing speed. Season 9 ends with a decapitated cameraman dead on the floor, ending on a dour note. Let's go ahead and take a look and see where Season 10 picks up from. Out the gate, we get a game changer. In episode 31, we see a cameraman that has been taken hostage by the Skibidi toilet, mirroring the previous episode where the Skibidi toilet was taken hostage by the cameraman, before an older Skibidi toilet scientist enters the room, placing a small Skibidi toilet parasite on the back of the cameraman. Suddenly, the cameraman turns to the side of the Skibidi toilet and punches our character to death. Episode 32 reveals that that was not the only infected that there was. There are more, and a lot more. After 2 Skibidi toilets are defeated by a large cameraman, the newly infected cameramen to come in and clean up the uninfected cameramen with a single broken lens punching us to death. Season 10's ending marks the end of my newly crowned favorite character, the Titan Speakerman. After swooping in to help deal with a giant camo Skibidi toilet, the Titan cameraman is felled by 2 giant Skibidi toilet parasites, and it's turned away from the path of righteousness and onto the path of Skibidi toilet. He blows up several speakermen and cameramen before snuffing our lights out with a single arm blast. Nothing short of a tragedy. As we mourn the loss of our great comrade, let's hop into Season 11. Episode 33 shows us 2 main threats from here on out: the G-Man Skibidi toilet and the Titan Speakerman destroying the town completely. But neither of these finish off our character in the episode. What does us in is a horrific Skibidi toilet with arms and legs that runs at us. It is apparently referred to as the mutant Skibidi toilet, but I'm just gonna call it nightmare fuel because no! Just no! Fortunately, episode 34 does not contain another one of these things, but instead contains us finding out the cure to the infection is to simply remove the parasite Skibidi toilet from the infected person. A huge win for the cameramen and speakermen. Episode 35 opens up with the invention of a gun that can be shot to remove these Skibidi toilet parasites, called an electromagnetic parasite disabler, or EPD for short. The scientist cameraman who built the gun, and the whole laboratory for a matter of fact, is interrupted by the infected Titan Speakerman and the G-Man Skibidi toilet. The gun is then attempted to be used on the infected Titan Speakerman, who doesn't even flinch. The gun is then tossed to us before we get a salute and see the death of our dear scientist friend. We run to a nearby alley, safely with the gun, protecting the future of the cameraman and speakermen alike. Not gonna lie, episode 35 had me worried for a second if we were gonna make it out of there or not with the anti-infection gun. Actual storytelling? Emotional investment in my Skibidi toilet? It can't be. Season 12 is evidently a flash forward, as episode 36 starts with a white-suited cameraman dual-wielding EPDs, defeating the oncoming horde of infected cameramen, infected speakermen, and skibidi toilets. The disinfection works, and they proceed to kill the whole horde of skibidi toilets. Episode 37... well, look at that thing! Like, more nightmare fuel. So glad that I didn't want to sleep tonight. Oh my gosh. Look, can I level with you real quick? It takes a lot to scare me. I am a huge horror movie fanatic. I've been a horror movie fan since I was a kid. But that thing? That gangly arm mess? Nope, I'm out. I'm skibidi my last toilet around these parts. Fortunately, it's the season finale, so something big is gonna happen. That EPD tank from last episode, they try to use it on the Titan Speakerman to get my favorite character back in the series. Woo! And they fail. Aww. They are blocked by an upgraded G-Man skibidi toilet, now equipped with laser guns on his sides and a jetpack. Our character is then killed by a spider skibidi toilet, ending the episode on yet another dour note. Season 13 seems to pick up on the same downbeat that Season 12 left us off in episode 39, showing multiple cameramen getting killed or defeated in one way or another by skibidi toilets, before the introduction of our final core new member to what I shall now refer to as the Alliance, the TV Man. They emit a purplish light from their TV-based faces that has a much greater power than the speakermen or the cameramen. It hypnotizes the skibidi toilets, allowing the last two surviving cameramen to get the upper hand and kill their attackers. Episode 40 is a callback to episode 25, with the TV men bringing in the giant TV man to hypnotize the skibidi toilets, invading as they use the giant speakermen to now defeat the immobilized skibidi toilets. They even hand our cameraman a protective lens in order to protect against the hypnosis beams, just like how the speakermen handed a pair of headphones over to the cameraman from that episode. Additionally, the TV men have a way of communicating. In this episode and the last, they flash a little emoticon on their face to communicate non-verbally. Episode 41 kicks off with the introduction of quite literally the biggest Titan so far, the Titan TV Man. The light emanating from his TV screen is so powerful that he's able to defeat an entire giant horde of various skibidi toilets with no assistance, and he forces them to flush themselves before flashing a cute little emoticon on his face. Our fourth faction has fully entered the fray. God, try saying that 12 times fast. In this season and with their own respective Titan, and they are by far seemingly the most powerful. Season 13 wraps up on seemingly the most upbeat note in the series so far, with the introduction of this new amazing powerhouse into the Alliance against the skibidi toilets. We begin season 14 finding out more about the TV men's power set. Episode 42 shows us that the beams that they emit from their screens actually are not too dissimilar from the disinfection guns that the cameramen built. Not only do they force the parasite skibidi toilets off of the infected, another application of the beam is that they are forced to start fighting one another. A claw skibidi toilet, with arms, then proceeds to grab our cameraman and drill into his face, presumably killing him instead of eating him, curiously enough. We learn more about the TV men in episode 43 as the skibidi toilets approach, now wearing sunglasses, which render them immune to the beams of the TV men, which the TV men's response is simply to shrug and teleport away in a large black puff of smoke. This could be a symptom of the claw skibidi toilet stealing the protective lens from the cameraman in the previous episode, and the skibidi toilets reverse engineering it into a piece of defensive armor. Moving straight along, episode 44 shows the TV Titan waging war against more giant skibidi toilets, before he is shot at by one... Hold on, let me check my notes here real quick. Here we go. Giant rocket launcher glass skibidi toilet. Well, that's sure a name. It's a giant skibidi toilet with a bunch of rocket launchers wearing glasses, so I guess it's a pretty explanatory name. After being shot at, 3 giant speakers are airlifted in and magnetized to the Titan TV man's body to create Cinema Man! A combination of TV and speaker merged into one great and all-powerful being. With the sound waves, he can shatter glass with his hypnotic TV powers, and then he can force the skibidi toilets to flush himself with his TV face. The episode in the season ends with the newly crowned Cinema Man locking eyes, I don't know, man, with the infected Speaker Titan. This sets up the exact premise for the next set of episodes. Season 15 kicks off where Season 14 left off, with episode 45 showing us the fight between the Cinema Man and the infected Speaker Man Titan. Cinema Man initially gets the upper hand in the fight, diving onto the Speaker Man, but after a brief scuttle, infected Titan Speaker Man flies away as the Cinema Man displays a miffed emoticon on his face before teleporting away. Not the climactic fight that we all wanted, but you're not going to get that in a season premiere. Episode 46 shows the infected Titan Speaker Man on the run, with Cinema Man in hot pursuit. He teleports in just after the infected Titan Speaker Man has left, only to be ambushed by the... Oh, you've got to be kidding me. These names are ridiculous. He was ambushed by the blind jetpack vacuum Skibidi toilet, which again, name speaks for itself, before using the weapons mounted to his shoulders to impale the BGVST. Yes, I'm abbreviating these things, deal with it. And releasing the cameramen that were recently eaten by the BGVST. Oh yeah, and it displays a new woo face. Episode 47 shows us the Cinema Man has chased down the infected Titan Speaker Man all the way down to his base, and the seemingly home territory for the Skibidi toilets. It clashes with the new and improved G-Man Skibidi toilet, the Flying Dual Buzzsaw Skibidi toilet, or FDBST, which manages to hack off 2 of its speakers. And finally, the infected Speaker Titan manages to stab the Cinema Man right in his screen, wounding him. He proceeds to teleport away right before a giant parasite Skibidi toilet can be dropped on him so he can be used for nefarious purposes. Our G-Man shoots our cameraman, but the episode doesn't end there. The first human ever seen since season 1 is seen reaching down for the now defunct cameraman, a stand-in for Defuck Boom himself. It's unclear why this happened, and he's credited as a special agent, quote-unquote, but I think that it's a perfect ending to season 14. This was also proof that the Cinema Man on full power was not enough to take down the upgraded G-Man toilet, but something has to be, right? Season 16, baby! Let's hop straight into things. Episode 48 has a lot to build on concerning the matchup that we just saw. Episode 48 does feel like a filler episode. Another sentence I can't believe I'm writing. But it does show a more action-packed fight between the basic cameramen and some Skibidi toilets before eventually they get murdered by the UFO Flying Buzzsaw Skibidi toilet or the UFO FBST, thus marking the end of the cameraman we just saw. Episode 49 shows that the G-Man Skibidi toilet now has glasses and the UFO FBST from the previous episode is still wreaking havoc. But be without fear, there's a new character here that is introduced, the TV Woman. Sounds like more of the same, but her beam can light Skibidi toilets on fire. She can detach her head and cause Skibidi toilets to glitch out and die. And she's the first case that we've ever seen of a TV person teleporting a cameraman with them. She takes our cameraman out of the fight and brings him to the newfound Alliance laboratory with a whole new science logo. Season 15's finale is the first episode to barely even have the Skibidi toilet song in it at all. In fact, I had to watch the episode a few times over to see if it was in the video at all. Episode 50 shows an all-out attack against the Alliance Science Center before the Titan cameraman makes his triumphant return. He obliterates all the attackers with his giant hammer, laser core attack, generally improved strength, and hits us with that classic cameraman thumbs up. After that insane finale, let's jump straight into season 17, the last season that has come out at the time of recording and writing this video. Episode 51 shows POV footage from the Titan cameraman decimating all of the Skibidi toilets with his new and upgraded arsenal before he gives a come here to the incoming flying Skibidi toilets. Episode 52 starts from a new perspective, a fallen cameraman that gets saved via plunger by a seemingly incoming special agent cameraman who wields plungers, known as the plunger cameraman, from a particularly strong Skibidi toilet. Eventually, a helicopter brings in a new camera woman with a security camera for her head who can lower her head and turn it into a gun. This episode ends with a thumbs up from the new camera woman and a cut to black. Episode 53 shows a valiant fight as more war is waged by the upgraded camera Titan. The plunger cameraman, as aforementioned, is seen before the new large flying teleporter Skibidi toilet, another name that I truly cannot believe I had to write for this script. He uses his mounted laser gun to kill a giant speaker man before he's shot at by the upgraded camera Titan man. He uses the mounted laser gun to kill a giant speaker man before he is shot at by the upgraded Titan cameraman. He eventually teleports away, gaining the ire of the upgraded Titan cameraman. A brand new mounted EPD is seen and the episode ends. Finally, a season that ends on a very upbeat note of the Alliance pulling ahead in this war. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole breakdown of the series so far in Skibidi Toilet. If this video does well, I'll do another breakdown of even more episodes, or if you're interested, I can break them down season by season once they come out. I hope that you enjoyed my analysis of this absolutely insane series that is Skibidi Toilet, because if you did, be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe for more of these hot takes. Comment your favorite character in the series so far. I'm serious, this isn't just for analytics, I'm actually genuinely super curious. I've gotten to know the newly upgraded camera Titan man, or Titan cameraman or whatever, but it's just an amazing callback. They wrote him back into the series, and I think that he's personally my favorite now. After this video, I can honestly say that my thoughts are that you should go and take a look at Skibidi Toilet. It might not be for you, considering the whole 12-second loop of audio thing and the lol random humor, but like I said, after around episode 15, episode 18, it gets really unique, it gets really interesting, and if this video piqued your interest, go give it a try, go give it a watch, even though you know what's gonna happen. It's kind of interesting to see, maybe you'll catch something that I missed. A little Easter egg here, a little reference there, something. I think that Defuck Boom is really a genius content creator, and actually really knows what he's doing. But until I see you next time, au revoir.